I'm a good Midwestern boy who grew up in Minnesota going to church every Sunday. We loved to hunt, fish, and have a good old pig roast on the farm from time to time. We didn't have much money, but we had a loving family and a good life. In 1997, I moved to New York City to attend college. I'd never been to NYC before, and let me tell you, it scared the HE double hockey sticks out of me. When I first got there, I remember walking up the Bowery with this mean look on my face, because I was worried that some random person would come and knife me. My parents dropped me off at the corner of 12th Street and 3rd Avenue in Manhattan, my dorm, kissed me goodbye, and headed back to Minnesota. At the age of 19, this was one of the first times I ever truly embraced terror. But it turned out to be one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. If I hadn't convinced my parents to send me to that school, I never would have met my wife and I never would have started my business. Speaking of my wife, I have this friend I met just after college. We'll call him George. George calls me up one day and says to me, "I got this great girl I want you to meet." I was single at the time, so naturally I was interested. He tells me this girl has been his friend for years, and he affectionately describes her as the billionairess. More graphically, that her father owns gold mines and that she wears $100 underwear. By the way, none of that was true. Now, this girl grew up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. She's Jewish, and she comes from money. Now remember, I'm a humble Midwestern boy. My parents are both school teachers, and we went to church every Sunday. Every bone in my body told me this was going to be a huge mistake. So George convinces both her and I to go on a blind double date with him and his girlfriend. The night before the date, he calls me up and tells me that she's canceled because she's at her beach house in Montauk, Long Island, and totally forgot about the date. Unannounced to me, he tells her that I'm this dorky computer nerd who chickened out at the last minute and canceled. Now a week goes by and George calls me up again. He gives me her number this time and tells me to give her a call. So, being the dorky computer nerd that I supposedly am, I call her right away. That Saturday night, we go on a blind date and meet for the very first time. 2 years and 3 months later, we were married. And 5 days from today, we'll celebrate our 18th wedding anniversary. That marked the second time I truly embraced terror. You see, I was that dorky computer nerd, and even though I didn't cancel our date the way George told her I did, I never thought it would work. I was so scared that we'd be too different, and that our different worlds would make it impossible to create a connection. Had I not have embraced that terror, I would not have my 2 beautiful daughters today or this amazing life I've built with my wife. So don't run away from the things that scare you. Run toward them, because they just might be the best decision you'll ever make.